Welcome to my brief screencast called Getting Started with APA. I thought I would put together something really simple that will cover the most common kinds of referencing situations that you'll encounter. Please note that this does not capture everything, and you should consult your APA 7th edition manual to get specifics of different kinds of situations. The first thing I want to say, and I really want to emphasize this, is that you should paraphrase as much as you can rather than citing word for word. I know that some people make the mistake of thinking that good referencing means you write exactly what other scholars have said, but in fact, the power of your voice will be much stronger if you paraphrase. It shows that you are thinking analytically, and it shows your ability to interpret what you're reading. So reserve the verbatim citations for definitions, or when scholars are articulating concepts and you want to make sure you get the specificity, or when a statement is written in such a unique way that if you changed it, then you would impede the meaning of it, or it's just so elegantly written that you want to capture that. You can also look at section 8.25 in your APA 7th edition manual for more guidelines around this. When you are citing within text and you are paraphrasing, note that there are no quotation marks and you don't need a page number. So some examples here. In this, the third point there, the basic concept of humility according to Jones, please note that the date comes in parentheses right after the author is mentioned. If it's two authors, Jones and Frankel, again, the year comes right after. What I also want to point out in that this example is that the word "and" is used when the authors are part of the sentence itself. But notice in the next example, leadership has been conceptualized as opposite of management, and you are referencing Jones and Frankel. The ampersand is used, not the word "and." And note, it's the author and the year. There's also paraphrasing where you would write the whole statement and then you want to put the author at the end, and that's the second to last point at the bottom there, leadership suffers. And just note again the punctuation, the comma between the year. You can also look at page 269 of your APA manual and see section 8.23 for more information. When you have direct quotes or verbatim quotes and short quotes defined by APA are fewer than 40 words, then you will use quotation marks and you will cite the page number. And what I want you to note here is how the author and year are placed and where the page number comes in. So in the first example, the basic concept of humility according to Jones, again, you know the year comes right after the author, is, and then your quote starts. You put the quotation marks and then you put the and close quotation marks at the end, and then the page number comes. So it's P for page, period, space, then the number, and notice that the punctuation is at the very end. If you have the quotation at the very beginning of the sentence, you start with the quotations there. Note that Jones and Frankel, the ampersand again, because it's not part of the sentence, you don't need the word and you have the year, and then the page number is right there. So it's a little bit different than the example above. You can see sections 8.25 and 8.26 in your APA 7th edition manual for some more examples. And there's also a table on table 8.2 on page 272 that gives you really concrete examples of what to do and what are the incorrect ways of citing verbatim. When verbatim quotes are long quotes, and that's defined by AP as 40 or more words, then this is called a block quotation. You do not use quotation marks for this, but you do start it on a new line and indent it 1/2 inch from the left margin. It's also double spaced, just like everything else in APA. Note that the period goes at the end of the quotation, and that the reference is in parentheses after that. There's no period after the reference. So if you look at my example, it's not 40 or more words, but let's pretend. You can see at the end of what is quoted directly is the period. So no quotation marks there, but then you put the author and the year and the page, and then end parenthesis, close parentheses, I should say, no period at the end. Again, look at page 272 of your APA manual to read more about this. One thing I also want to point out is using et al. So notice the correct way to punctuate. There's a period after al, and then you have the comma, and then the year. And if you are also using a page number, note again the period after the al, the comma, the year, and then the page. So just pointing out where the period comes after. It's after the al, not the et. So these are just quick tips, mostly pretty common ones that you'll definitely run into. But again, just a reminder, look at your APA manual for citing in different kind of situations. I hope that this has been helpful.